what I want to talk about today is very current with what's going on at the moment, and what is going on in terms of coronavirus and the Black Lives Matter, the George Floyd situation, and now the scumbags, all these football hooligans, making, you not feeling proud of being British. But anyway, what that kind of can make you realise is, or make you reflect on how much of a scary time we're living in. And, we are living a very disruptive part of our lives. Hopefully this is the worst it's ever going to be, but you just don't know. And it got me thinking that I think a lot of us, and too many of us, are not proactive with our mental health, we're reactive. So if you were to think of three things that you do in your daily routine that help manage and regulate your mental health. If you can't list three, then I don't think you are being proactive enough in trying to help and manage your mental health. Because so many of us, we suddenly get heightened states of anxiety. Even for many of us, we might have a depressive episode, but especially as well when we don't have mental health issues, we still need to be proactive in managing our mental health, because just because we don't have any kind of high stakes anxiety now doesn't mean, we might not get any. So I think what we need to be focusing on is having three ways on having a way to manage your mental health. For example, meditation, reading, cooking. What floats your boat? Is there something, that really calms your mental health if you're stressed or whatnot, whatever's going on in your life, especially now more than ever when we're living in such a disruptive part of our lives? We've got to really be focusing about these things and taking it forward, because when we do go back to work, if we don't have three things to manage our mental health, then we need to take advantage of this time now and really identify what is the best thing we can do in order to help our mental health going forward. So having three things, and if you don't have three things, then it's time to start kind of thinking of other ways, because if you're being always reactive with your mental health is always going to feel like it's in control of you, because you're always just going to react to being in a heightened state of anxiety or just feeling pretty gloomy and horrible. Whereas if you're proactively managing it, you're much more likely to go throughout the day with not. For example, in the mornings, I always go for a walk with my mum. And although when I go back to London, I won't be with my mum, but I always go for a walk in the morning to the tube, which doesn't seem like a walk, but for me, that's me by my own space, listening to a podcast, having my own headspace. So walking in the morning, getting your thoughts out, having someone as a sounding board, or if you're by yourself, putting in a podcast in, such a great way in just setting you up for the day. And it might not seem like anything significant, but if you're listening to a podcast in the morning, you're feeling really productive first thing in the morning. It makes you feel like you're in control of your day, not in your day in control of you, and that feeling of your day being in control of you, which can automatically lead to, life feeling on top of you if that's happening every day. And that obviously doesn't contribute very well to your mental health. So then in the evening, I do a bit of meditation every night before going to bed, just 10 minutes. And it not only helps me go to sleep within about 10 minutes, which is great, because sometimes, we can ruminate and we can come up with life stories in our heads, come up with music videos in our heads about what our life's about in the evenings, which can help us stay up, and then we feel tired. This meditation just allows me to go to sleep very calmly, but also it really helps my mind from stop wondering about everything else. It just brings you into the present. So that's number two. I mean, obviously exercising is the main one. But then sometimes, if you're absolutely shattered, you're having a rest day, or if you've already kind of done quite a bit of exercise, if you've done, let's say, 10,000 steps and you've done a workout, I mean, if you really wanted to, you could do a different form of exercise like yoga. But just that's already number 3. But at least if you've already exercised, you've got 2 more others. So it could be reading. Reading's another great one. If you read fiction books, if you like getting lost in a fiction book, if you like an education book. But in terms of mental health, I always recommend reading a book. A book on perspective. So there are loads of books out there kind of providing you with different insights and perspectives into the world, and they're things that really help my mental health. So I want to share that with you, because if you can find these different perspectives, it can really help you focus getting out of your head, because obviously our heads, we're in our own little world, and then if we kind of relay information from other books, that can actually really help us get a broadened perspective, which can help us feel less trapped in our own little worlds. Because sometimes we think our little worlds, what goes on in our heads, that's it. That's kind of what life is. But really, all these little things you can pick out from these books, wonderful perspectives. It's so powerful how one line can change your perspective in a book. One line can literally change your outlook, and that is an incredible thing to have. So being proactive over reactive with your mental health, having 3 ways, at least 3 ways, because 2's really not enough, of helping and managing your mental health. And if you can't think of 3 ways, and when I mean 3 ways, when you think of this, don't just think of kind of cop-out excuses or cop-out things, because at the end of the day, this is going to help you. Having 3 ways of proactively helping and regulating your mental health, because as well, during lockdown, now is the perfect time to take advantage of this stuff. Because going forward, when life goes back to normal, if you don't have 3 ways of proactively managing your mental health, then your head's only going to catch up with you, and sometimes life's going to feel in control of you again, and you're not going to feel in control of your state of mental health. So that's really important to focus on, being proactive over reactive. And I think as well, we as humans have a tendency to think, oh, I don't enjoy that, I don't like. We write things off before we've even really given them a proper go. So we can't really complain if we haven't even given stuff a go. And as humans, we are all guilty of that at times. So just giving things a go, you never know what can help you and what you might find beneficial in your life that works for you in helping and managing your mental health. Anyway, that is kind of mental health topic for this week. I will be back next week talking about mental health, and I hope you all have a great week.